am I introducing everybody or what? I don't.
Yeah.
I talk about that. Okay, so hi everybody, it's Lainey, and I'm with Kenya and Riley from the Carpe Librum Book Club, and we have special guest Sam here to talk about ZODIAC by Romina Russell. Uh, Make sure you ask us questions in the Q&A, and we also, in a half hour, we're going to be having Romina Russell herself come in and answer some of our questions. So that will be fun. Is that good?
All right.
Oh, I should tweet the link.
Huh?
Tweet the link.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So, you did. All right.
Okay, so should we talk about what we thought of it? Initial thoughts?
Overall,
Yes.
yeah.
Did you want to start, Kenya?
Okay, yeah, I'll start. I'm gonna read the question. So, how did you experience the book? Were you engaged immediately, or did it take you a while to get into it? And how did you feel while reading it? Amused or whatever? I got into it so much because I thought that the whole idea of having the zodiac signs in a world was really interesting. So I was really into it in the beginning, and then towards the middle I was just a little shaky. So yeah, I think I liked it and I was into it in the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. I was kind of like the opposite of you. Or
Yeah.
I was kind of into it in the beginning because I was reading it when everybody else was reading it, of like when it was published, and then we had the Twitter chat. And then it kind of, when she was going from Gemini to Virgo and all those other different places to Libra, I kind of lost interest a little bit. But then by the last like fourth of the book, I was like super into it when she was when they were gathering the fleet and she was at the embassy and everything like that. I was like really engaged.
Yeah. Anyone want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go. Wait, what question are we answering?
Okay. So it's, how did you experience the book? Were you engaged immediately, or did it take a while for you to get into it? And how did you feel while reading the book?
Okay, I got engaged right away. I got into it early on, but then I kind of fell off in the middle and I didn't really like the middle part. But then the end, I loved the end of it. The end really got me.
Yeah.
I was really similar to all of you guys. Like the beginning, the first like 5 or so chapters, I was really into it, and then I got really kind of confused. I think there was a lot of info dumpy stuff in the middle of it, just because she's building the world and we saw so many places and we saw so many people and we were trying to figure out how all the politics worked, and so you got all these like names and how every kind of house works, which I found confusing. I mean, eventually towards the end I was fine with it, but while I was reading it, it was very, like, I couldn't keep track of a lot of stuff, and then the end, like, the last fourth, like you guys were saying, I was really into it, and it went really fast, and I couldn't put it down. But the middle was kind of slower for me.
Yeah, I agree with the whole confused thing. I feel like because it took place in Galaxy. Oh, actually, I want to mention this. Before I started reading the book, for some reason, I thought that these weren't going to be humans. They were going to be something else living in space. So while I was reading it, I was like, wait, they're humans? How are they living in space? But then, you get the whole, like, spacesuit and stuff. But that's when I got a little bit confused because I didn't know how the planets were arranged, and there was a lot of going to different planets. So I would have really appreciated a map. I think we talked about this, Tam, before. That was, like, the one thing I really wanted, a map. So
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been less confusing.
Yeah. Because she mentions like traveling at hyperspeed and such, so I don't know if like it's set up like kind of like our solar system, where
Yeah.
or if it's like more like each like house is like a Milky Way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved a map. I also would love like a chart, because when you were talking about what all the different houses like what they're responsible for. And I know they had that. There was a page where it kind of had like all of them spelled out a little bit, like within the story. But at the same time, a lot of them seem to overlap a lot. Like a couple of them both were really smart, but like one was technologically smart and one was like theory smart, and it just I had a hard time being like, okay, so which house does what exactly, and like what are they responsible for? Like Cancer, we were obviously really familiar with, and like Gemini, I was pretty okay with too, but the rest of them, even like the other main characters that we saw, I wasn't as sure like what their houses stood for, which was kind of a big deal with like the politics and how everything worked in that world.
Yeah. Which one was your favorite? Sorry, go ahead.
And I was like, even like Cancer, I felt like we didn't even like get a real.
Yeah.
Like I feel I Virgo and Libra than I am to Cancer.
I really, really like the idea of Cancer, and I don't want to jump too much, but I think that we're gonna get a little bit of Gemini, not Cancer. Damn it, she's going back to Gemini, huh? I really wanted it to be in Cancer for a little bit because it sounds really cool.
Right. It was hard to like kind of attach. I think that might have been my reason where it was harder for me to attach to Ro and even any of the Cancer people in general, because we didn't get to see Cancer and a lot of it before things started happening. So it was really hard to kind of like attach to them as like a people, which is her big thing is how attached she is to her people, and we couldn't really attach to them because we never really saw them. So it was hard to kind of be in her shoes and kind of empathize with what she's going through.
Yeah. But which one was your favorite house or your favorite planet? I mean, I know you said Libra, right? Lainey?
Well, I have to automatically like Libra because I am a Libra. So I already feel like an allegiance towards that, like, based solely on that. But I think the whole concept of Gemini is the most interesting, how they all kind of, like, want to be children. That's creepy.
Yeah.
That it was creepy. Who were you guys picturing as Ruby? I was picturing that little girl from, what's her name? Kristen Dunst.
Like Dakota Fanning?
Vampire? No, Kristen Dunst.
Oh, An Interview with a Vampire?
Yeah. I was like, that was creepy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But one thing I'm trying to figure out is that, so Ruby and Cassie, they're like hundreds of years old. Would Ro now live longer because she was a guardian?
I think they're supposed to.
What are all their lifespans? Are they all?
I think that in Gemini, they go through this procedure that makes them live longer.
Oh.
Because they're the only ones that are that old. Because we do have some old guardians, but they're just like our regular age, I guess, you know? Like regular old.
Normal.
Yeah, normal age, yeah.
Yeah. I was confused on that too. I think a lot of like the rules about guardians and stuff like that, like I wasn't, because I kind of thought that maybe they were supposed to live a little longer too, but not necessarily as old as Gemini, because no one was as old as Gemini. But it seemed like a lot of the guardians were old, and not just like 50s and 60s old, like looking a little ancient, kind of old. So I'm not like sure like how long they're supposed to go.
Yeah, I know that they mentioned the Aquarius one. That guy looked really, really old. But wasn't he, I'm so confused. Was he the one who was just taking on the role of leading the planet because there was like the 6-year-old, right? Is that from Aquarius?
Yeah, there was one of them was a baby, like a little kid. They might think it was
But like seemed like it was like a monarchy kind of bloodline.
So yeah, they all have like their different politics and their way of working, and that was a little bit confusing too.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you guys want to talk about the characters? I mean, we have 3 main characters in this story, and talk about their personalities and traits and stuff.
My favorite character was Hyson.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
felt like he was like the most charismatic character, but then you also kind of like saw his like vulnerability, the fact that
Mhm.
he can't say that he's the Libra guardian, which I
Mhm.
wasn't expecting. I was
No.
surprised when they
Yeah.
mentioned that.
I
Yeah.
liked that twist, like, a
Yeah.
lot. That was one of my favorites. And then right after when they're like, well, Guardians can't get together, and I'm like, no! Like,
Yeah, like started with that next chapter, the
right.
taboo.
Yeah. Yeah. Not that it stopped anybody anyway, but that I was a little upset at that point. But yeah, I liked
Yeah.
that twist a lot.
I read that so long ago because I started reading this book like in the beginning of the read along, and then I stopped. So I feel like I lost the whole like I don't know. I feel like there was just that pause made me feel different towards the book than what I was feeling before. I should have read it just like straight out. But I did not like him at first because I was like, of course, a love triangle. I see it coming. And
Yeah.
I always just go for the one who the main character likes first, and then I won't change my mind, even if they do.
Okay, so like speaking of Matthias being the pre-page one love interest,
Mhm.
Right.
even though he was the pre-page one love interest, I felt like they didn't really have a history.
Yeah,
Right.
Like they just kind of like knew of each other because
Yeah. They hadn't taled at all
yeah, they
before.
hadn't. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I really didn't like Matthias. So and I think the main reason why I can't accept Ro and him together is because he didn't believe in her, even when like Akis, Akis or Okus, whatever, was staring him like straight in the face.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Oh,
and he still can't accept that that is what's going on. Like he
I
didn't even
like. Oh my
believe in
god.
her,
Yeah.
and I just don't. I can't root for a guy who wants to be with a girl who doesn't even like trust her or
Right.
doesn't even believe in her, doesn't even give her the confidence that she wants from like other people around her. So I really hope he's dead and he stays dead. Like I seriously can't. I can't with him.
Right.
Yeah. And okay, so the whole not trusting her or whatever, that part when he was about to die, um, what happens? I think Ro is like reflecting on why they couldn't be together and why he couldn't trust her or something like that. And they were saying something, what were they saying? That he was looking for excuses so they wouldn't be together, and that's why he wouldn't trust her. Did you guys remember that part?
I vaguely remember her saying that, but I feel like she was just like
He's about to die.
grieving, Yeah. Like,
And I
don't know.
really liked that she wouldn't let him go with her on the
Yeah.
walk.
You liked it?
Yeah. I didn't want him to be. This is something she needed to do on her own, especially for like me as the reader, since I felt like Ro was like up and down for me most of the book. That she needed to do this by herself, and I didn't want anybody with her or guiding her like that.
No.
Right.
So let's see what else. Do you guys want to talk about Ro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I felt a little frustrated with Ro at the beginning because, I remember, Sam, you were mentioning this, how she went from drummer to, like, into politics.
Yeah.
And I feel like that
It's
was
fun.
that was a big leap. She's young, and she was, like, thrown in this situation. And I don't know, I did not like that.
I like that she was scared of her title at the end.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I really, really like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a personal problem with characters that are kind of like special snowflakes. Like, the characters that instantly have all this power magically, even though we kind of know that she was, like, trained by her mom, but she's instantly, like, great, like, the best person ever to read that Ephemeris or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And she's, like, destined, and she's supposed to do this, and blah, 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 and she can just, like, do all these crazy things that, like, no one else knows how to do. And I just don't like characters like that in any book ever. So just, like, you have to fight a little more for this. Like, you can't just automatically be great at this. And yeah, I just couldn't I couldn't get behind her from the beginning because it was just like almost too easy for her to do some of this stuff. Even though she obviously like had a lot of issues convincing people of things, it was still like from the get-go, you know that she's kind of this like special character that can like have all these prophecies that no one else can see, and I just don't like that in characters.
Yeah, I feel like this first book could have been focused on her development of becoming, you know, the role and of the natural disasters. I feel like if we would have just focused on that, that would have been, I don't know, I feel like her character would have been a little bit more fleshed out, I think. I would have really liked that.
I also didn't really like her martyr complex, which is another problem that I have with a lot of characters anyway, but just any character that is always like, you weren't supposed to die for me, and which I understand is a very common, you know, like psychological issue for people that have like survivor guilt and stuff like that. But it's just like, you know, you're the guardian. These people are supposed to protect you.
Yeah.
It's their job. Like, stop being like, you're not supposed to. It's literally his job. Like, stop crying about it. You know, like I just couldn't.
Did she even cry? I think she like shed a tear.
Right. She cried again, but. Yeah, it was just, I can't handle when characters are like, don't stick up for me when it's literally their job. Like, he's your guard.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have any more thoughts?
I just really liked the ending. I really liked the ending. How they like, first I was like totally thrown when she went back to the ambassadors, and they, like, she was there to like tell a report, but then they like just straight up like put her on trial, and I'm like, what's going on?
That trial thing.
Yeah, I actually felt bad for her in that situation because that was bullshit. Like, it was.
Yeah.
So I felt really bad.
Yeah.
You know what I still don't understand though? They still think that the Iceman dude is not real.
Right.
They still said that they thought that she was still making it up. And I was like, okay, after everything, I'm just a little bit confused on what the other people were seeing, because we're obviously in Rose perspective. We can see what she sees, but what were everybody else looking at when they went to attack, or you know, the Iceman? So I'm a little confused about that. Why do they still think that this is not real?
Right.
Yeah.
Because that Charon guy from, was it Scorpio? Like,
oh my god, I hate him.
Oh my god, I wanted to like snap his neck.
Yeah, he was awful.
Yeah, and they were already, he was under suspicion already. Why did they let him in? What happened?
Yeah.
And then
and the fact that like everybody banded behind her and was like, do this, you're our person, and then they're like, wait, you're a coward, sorry. It's like,
I didn't like that they made her like the leader of that. There's just, I feel like there were a lot of more capable people to go and lead an army. I think that was what bothered me probably the most of the story, that part.
Yeah, I can see that, but like, kind of, they kept mentioning that she's in charge of the metaphysical part of the attack, and like she shouldn't have to worry about the ships or anything like that. But when Akis like kind of like fled away from her, and like, I'm going off on like a different point, but I think that her mom is like behind something here.
Yeah, I think she's the one leading the oh dude. Yeah.
And like even like the army that's forming, is it on Phobos or something? That I'm kind of confused about why they were mentioned in the story, when I thought they were gonna come out and attack. I don't know. I'm just
what part is this?
My mind doesn't like know how to like talk to the army.
Oh, the army part, yeah.
Yeah, like why was it mentioned when I mean, it's going to be a big part in the second book, I think, but
yeah. I also think that it's the mom who's, I think, maybe trying to put the 13th planet together. I just feel like she has a big part because she's always mentioned,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that Matthias, like, before she left, was saying, like, you were born for this or something, or, like, this was your destiny. Like, he was saying something along the lines of, like, this has been predicted. So, like, maybe her mom knew that and is making Ro do stuff in order to, like, set something else in motion so that 13 can come back, because her mom was like, you know, believe in your fears. And so maybe her mom knew, like, Akis is a huge, you know, scary thing. So if she makes Akis be a real thing, then Ro will be scared. Because I'm not completely convinced that Akis isn't, like, a weird hologram. Just because of the whole thing with the doctor. Like, remember when she saw the doctor after he was dead? I'm kind of convinced that Akis isn't completely a real thing because of that weird hologram experience.
Yeah.
So who do you think would be behind that then? The mom?
Probably her mom. I mean,
I think the mom's behind everything.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, she's brought up way too much, and that she has all these, like, she's really smart and has all these kind of abilities. She's brought up a lot.
Yeah.
We do have a question. It says, who is your favorite minor or supporting character?
Hassan? What do you guys call him? Hyson? Hyson?
I wouldn't call him minor, though.
Yeah.
I really liked the, like, general guy on the, like, ship she was on when they were going in.
Oh,
like, was he an Aries? He was an Aries
He was
guy?
a Russian.
Yeah. Yeah, he was funny.
Yeah.
I think my favorite was Ruby, and it wasn't until the very end that I really liked her, because I thought she was weird. I thought her and her brother were weird.
Oh, yeah.
But then at the end, I think they're going to become, like, really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really liked Ruby.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what other friendship I didn't buy? Well, actually, all her friendships. I mean, Nishi, whatever, the original friend, you know, she, like, I don't know, I really liked her in the beginning. I just really wanted to see her throughout the whole story. I think she would have been such a great supporting person in what Ro needed throughout the whole, you know, her whole journey. And but then the other relationship the friendship that I didn't really see was her and the ambassador.
Yes.
Girl. That
happened too fast.
Yeah, she hated her. And then out of
and then
nowhere,
she's like, okay, we're friends.
Gifted her the necklace.
Are you talking about Serna or something?
Yeah, her. Yeah.
I was, like, confused when she, like, stripped her of the Guardian thing at the end, and I'm like, what is I just didn't, it was confusing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I had to do that because otherwise you would have been, like, excommunicated or whatever, you know, like, exiled.
Or worse, yeah.
Or worse, you know, but it still was like, man, way to be backstabby.
Yeah. Do you want to answer the other question we have there? Oh, I think we can. I don't know.
You really liked Nishiko.
I do. I really like her. She's cool.
I think she'll have a bigger...
I don't have an opinion on her at all. Like, I kind of liked her at the beginning, but...
But then, yeah.
Yeah.
I think she'll have a bigger role in the second book.
Yeah.
Because now that they went back to Gemini. But, yeah.
I think she's going to help Ro a lot on whatever Ro is planning to do next. Do you guys think what do you guys think about the character development, and did they change throughout the book?
I don't think Matthias changed at all.
No.
Until he was going to die.
Right.
He was like, I should have told you.
I don't know.
I really do think he didn't change it at all. And is he gonna come back and redeem himself?
I'm sure he is. Until I see his dead body on the pages, I'm not gonna believe he's dead.
Yeah, yeah.
And speaking, like, kind of what the second book, about what your expectations for book 2 is, I'm excited for her to go off and do these things as a non-guardian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I was kind of agreeing with some of the other people. They're like, you should be back at Cancer.
Yeah.
You need to, like, be with your people. And she was, like, running around the galaxies. And I felt like she wasn't really a good guardian.
No, she really wasn't.
So like I'm gonna be more in supporting her, going to the different places to like figure out what's going on, as just Ro.
Yeah, and she can make the more selfish choices, and you know she can do everything that she wants to do. Because before, like, yeah, it's great that you want to like protect the whole galaxy, but as a guardian, that's not your job. So you have to worry about your house. So like she can do more good in like uniting the houses as a single player instead of as a guardian of another house.
Okay. Was the ending satisfying?
Yeah.
I did like the end. It was satisfying, yeah.
The end was my favorite part of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other sections of the book that you guys want to talk about?
What was your favorite house they visited? Is a question.
Oh, I can't remember which one it was because I read this before I stopped reading it, you know?
Well, we only saw Gemini, Virgo, Libra, kind of Cancer, and
I think it was Libra when she was with
Aquarius. They go for
we saw Aries too, right?
Yeah, that's the last one that they were in and everything happened. That one was very confusing.
The soldier area or whatever.
Yeah. I think it was the Libra one then.
Is Libra what's the one that Hassan is? Is he Libra or Virgo?
Libra.
I mixed them
Libra.
up. He's Libra. Okay, so I like Libra the most, I think.
Yeah, I liked his place.
Yeah.
I did like the Gemini one, like that one was interesting, but at the same time it reminded me a little too much of the capital versus the districts in like Hunger Games, where like, you know, everyone that's not rich is working for them. And that was a little too much in the way that they like are obsessed with being young and they all look kind of weird. Like that was a little too capital versus districts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a few more minutes before Romina is coming in. So is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
There's another question. What do you think Rose's brother will be like?
Oh,
we
didn't think about that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about him either, like, because we didn't really hear a ton about him. So hopefully he's, like, a supportive character and not,
I think he'll be supportive. I also think he kind of knows what happened to the mom.
Yeah.
Because in some of her past memories, she mentioned how her mom always brought the brother with her.
Yeah.
So I think there's something about that.
So then that wouldn't be a good thing. If the mom's planning something bad, then...
Well, I think he can still be a supportive brother to Ro, but still...
But still know what was happening before.
Yeah.
Give clues.
Okay. Anything else?
Are there any like houses you guys are looking forward to seeing in the future, or do you think it's just that we're gonna stick to these like 5 that we've already kind of seen and like?
I think we're gonna see more of them, and I'm really excited to see Aquarius because that's my sign.
I know. I want Leo really bad because that's mine. I'm like, bring me the Leos.
Oh, so okay. How did our signs change in this world? Because that was a big thing about promoting this book, where your signs change and now a Capricorn or something. That wasn't tied in with the book, was it?
No, but
it was just like promotional stuff.
It's like I think
I was still a Leo with the book change. Yeah.
I was a Libra and then I was a Virgo, which both of my signs were featured in the first book.
Yeah, and I'm like a Capricorn. What? I don't even know what that is.
I'm started a Capricorn. I can't remember what I switched to. I forget.
Wait, I have the box right here. Let's look.
You have to go on the website to change.
Really?
Okay, you're a Capricorn?
Yeah.
Oh, you turned Aquarius. Duh. I'm Aquarius and I turned Capricorn. Yeah, I don't know. Leo is Virgo. Which one are you, Sam?
I'm Leo, so I turned to Virgo.
Virgo,
I
yeah.
don't know what that means.
And then Lainey, you're a Scorpio.
No, I'm a Virgo.
What?
Dude, it's on the website. You put in your birth date on the website, and then it switches to where you're at.
You're a Libra, and then you turn Scorpio.
No, they just printed it that way.
No, that's how they are. Because I put in my date in the website, and I turned Capricorn, and that's what this one is.
Well, I went to the website, and I was a Libra, and then it turned into a Virgo.
Oh. Oh, no. Okay, so it's 4:31 right now. Lainey, do you want to send the link?
I sent it.
I'll be back really quickly.
Did anybody else have like a harder time visualizing Ocus when she was in the Psy?
Kind of. I just kind of picture him like an ice wraith from like video games.
Oh, I was like, well, I don't know, like what's going on.
Yeah, I have a hard, but I like a kind of like a wispy ice thing is how I kind of picture him.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. Does anybody else have like a harder time visualizing Ocus?
Oh, someone's playing the video on there. Kind of, but I just kind of picture him like an ice wraith from like video games.
Oh, I was like, well, I don't know, like what's going on.
We have a delay.
Wait, where did Kenya go?
She said that she's gonna go to the bathroom or something, I think.
Oh.
Is she on mute?
I think so. Someone has the old video open, so we keep hearing it on like a loop or something. So I think we have to.
And Romina, you're on mute.
Yeah, I know. I was just waiting.
Okay. There you go. Okay.
Kenya, you had a question for her right away.
Well, I think we should talk about the world first, and then we go into more questions.
Okay.
I guess, what was your inspiration with combining horoscopes with this world, and where did you initially get the thought to do this?
So it's actually a hybrid idea because I know my editor from back in college, so we've known each other for like 10 years now, and I wanted to write a YA sci-fi. I just wanted it to be more fi than sci because I didn't want it to have to be that smart, and so I just was like, what could I mix with it to kind of water it down? And it was her idea to do the ZODIAC signs, which I thought was brilliant. And I knew absolutely nothing about. So that was a lot of fun researching. Like I never thought something would be harder than science, but like I did so much more astrology research than anything else for this. It was bizarre. So.
No, yeah, I know the part where we meet Ocus, is that it?
Yes, Ocus.
Yeah, that's when we start talking about like time and all these other, theories and stuff like that. I was like that. Like that reminded me of Interstellar, and I was like, oh my, I barely understood that movie.
Pretty much, like, to get me, like, I'm a Virgo, so like Guardian Moira, a Virgo. When Ro comes in and she's just like, did you like, yeah, speak fast. What do you want? Like, I rarely, like, right now I'm doing 100 things while we're talking. Like, I can't do one thing at once. My brain has to operate on 100 different and be challenged at all times. So, I don't want an easy read, like I would hate, like that would be the biggest insult. I like things that are complicated and weird and leave with questions and you have to read 3 times to really understand, because there's answers to everything that's been said. It's just you have to really read it to find it. So I like stuff like that.
Do you guys have any another question?
Yeah, have you like already mapped out the other houses, the ones that we didn't mention?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you go to zodiacbooks.com and you go to all the signs, everything I did is there. I basically wrote this crazy world Bible, and I turned it into an editor and was like, every world, every government, every, topography, people, everything. And she's like, great. And next thing I know, it's live on a website. I didn't even check it for typos. Like, this is just for me. And like, I was sharing it with her, and I was mortified. It's like, you just came out, not dressed and anything. And then it's like, oh, God. So it was really scary. But now it's up there for the whole world to judge before I fully thinking it through. Cool. So yeah, you can find anything there. And there's a glossary too, so while reading and stuff like that. And I would love for them to do a map. I've been begging. So people can ask Penguin Teen and Razorville, do a map, Let's do that. Yeah. I'd do it if I was talented. I would. I just can't.
But in your mind, do you have sort of like an image of where everything stands?
Totally. Like, I've got it all played out in this beautiful cinematic, like, close-up, shot, whatever. But if I had to ever, like, describe it for a sketch artist, oh, my God, I would die because I'd be like, oh, crap, I really didn't do this the right way. It's just, like, I don't really – I think so much in words that, like, visuals take a while for me to, it's like, even as I'm rereading it, I'm like kind of reshaping stuff in my head and different things. I'm just like, why is that? Just like images take so long for me. That's why movies can really make or break a book for me, because it's like, if it's not what I pictured, it's terrible, know? So,
I'm a very visual person, so if I don't put the book down and try to map out anything, even like the characters' looks or anything, I'm just reading the book with a blurry image. So, and that would be really cool.
I'd love that.
Yeah. Which of all the characters in your book do you relate the most to?
Moira, pretty much.
Really?
What's funny is I kind of said this a lot, actually. I have nothing in common with Ro other than our taste in men and like, and I'm a drummer, and I was a teenage drummer, and that's literally it. And we both have the curls and the green eyes, and literally it's funny because I was able to physically make her a little bit like me just because she's so different that I would never in my life she could even have a name like mine, and I would never in my life confuse, myself or my protagonist, because couldn't be more different. I mean, Cancer and Virgo, if you look both up, I mean, it's ridiculous, and she's really sweet, and she sees the good in people, and she's so selfless, and so like, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. That's who I want to lead me, obviously, like the fully evolved version of that person, but like, I wouldn't want me to lead. I mean, like, if Frodo offered me the Ring of Power, I'd pull a Gandalf. I'd be like, yeah, I'd want to do good. I would. So, yeah.
You guys have any other questions?
We have a really good question on the Q&A. Someone says, did you plan for Matthias's death, or did the flow of the story make it that way?
It's always flow of the story. I plan ahead of time a lot, and like this one was pretty planned, and it was pretty set that someone important would die there, but I think it kind of cemented who it would be as you go. You're pretty sure, this is, that it's going to cost the character, because you realize all these decisions, it's like a snowball. Eventually, life does have consequences. Otherwise, we'd all be, doing whatever. So, it's that thing where it's like, and they were both the two that were kept putting themselves in that position of like, not doing anything is doing something. Not deciding is a decision in itself, and not speaking is saying a lot, and for Matthias and Ro, those things really just like, is intense, and it's kind of like, I mean, literally, they didn't even speak up to the last moment. She didn't even let him get the last words out. It was just like constantly not speaking for 5 years watching him. And what's funny is like, I get really, take it very personally when people call it insta-love with Matthias, because I have a guy that I loved from afar since I was Ro's age till then. And like, I finally dated him when I was like 19 or 20, and it was like, yes, finally. And like, of course, 2 weeks into it, I'm like, oh, I'm over it. Like, it was just one of those things that, like, I get it, but it was one of those things where it's just like forever was this thing. And I think like, he shaped so much about me weirdly without ever, you know, he never looked at me. He was older. He never, you know, and
Yeah.
but it's that thing of like, I think you are shaped a lot by like I said, by the things you do and the things you don't, and the silences and the words, you know, and so I think, and he was a really good person, like a very good person, like Matthias. So it's like, it really inspired me to be better. And I think that's a really great thing to do for someone, you know, and again, we never really spoke. You know, but it was real for me, you know, so like I think I understand, and obviously Ro being Cancerian, loving, she comes from a place where it's all about love and about like, you know, so it's like you put her in close quarters with two guys, she's never really been in a real relationship before, and they're both hot, both nice.
Yeah, I think Matthias is one of his traits is a very honorable person, and I really like it. I want to know, why did you decide for Ro to be in Cancer instead of all the other ones? I know we've already asked this question, or somebody asked this question in the Twitter, but I don't know. I want to know about that.
No, of course. So, I mean, it kind of goes back to, what I was saying about her not being like me. I definitely wanted someone not like me. Besides just not like me, I also wanted someone not like a typical fighter, you know, and not like you're like a typical sort of heroine that we would expect from like a sort of, you know, violent world. Like I wanted her to be someone I could relate to, like, and the only weapon I could possibly possess is my voice. You know, I'm not very like violent or athletic or anything, you know, and I really thought about like, well, what would I do if I had to, you know, how would I use that as a thing, you know? And I think for Ro, truth, it's just she uses honesty as her, you know, she just sticks to the truth no matter what, because everything around her is falling apart, worlds are collapsing, you know, she doesn't know who she can trust, everyone is shifting, one minute she has family, the next she doesn't, but the one thing she has is what she knows in her heart, you know, and she says it early on, no matter what the universe takes from me, it can't take what's in my head and in my heart. And that's something my dad has always said to me. It's like, no matter what the universe takes from me, it can't take. And I've always kept that with me, and it's kept me so steady, you know. And so I think that's really important, like, for her to realize as a person, like, you know what, when everything else dies, like, it's my you know, cancerness, my truthfulness, you know, and that anchors her.
Yeah, you know, now that you mentioned about her using her voice, I didn't really think about it until now, how her voice being her only weapon, it was the most frustrating when nobody believed her.
That's life, isn't it?
Even at the end.
Yes.
Right. Life isn't fair.
Right.
What a weapon. Yeah.
I know. It sucks. It's so hard to. It's funny though, because like I've been hearing from readers from around the world, and it's us in America who get the most angry about that, and people in other parts of the world love, and they relate so strongly to it, because you know, we have this sense of entitlement, and we're like, we deserve the best, we deserve to be famous, we deserve the best of everything. But like, you know, most players of the world, it's about unity, it's about the group above the individual, and I think for them, like that struggle resonated more.
Yeah, and the being shut down, I feel like here in America we have the whole, you know, freedom of speech, and we're so used to that we don't think about it otherwise.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
You guys have any other questions? You guys want to answer some of the questions?
There are a lot of good questions in the Q&A if we want to go there, because
before we jump into that, can we tweet out again the link just in case, you know?
Yeah, I did.
Just
retweeted like 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
I'll retweet.
Great. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, did I do this? Oh no, I just did it now. Cool.
Okay, one of the questions is, how did the character Hyson, or is it Hyson? How do you pronounce it?
Oh my God, what's so funny is in my head I was always saying Hassan, and then my editor's like, so Hyson, and I was like, whoa.
I say Hassan!
And then, but then I started saying Hyson, and I like it even more, so whatever.
For me, I think because I also speak Spanish, I don't know if you speak Spanish, being from Argentina. I pronounce things a little bit different. So Hassan is how I would pronounce that, sort of in between like Spanish and English. Yeah.
So back to the question. How did the character Hyson come to be? What inspired you to create him?
So to me, Hyson is more, he's less of a, well, I mean, he's becoming more of a typical white character, but I think the reason he's less of the, like, you're not sure about him initially is because we're so used to seeing, like, the Matthias kind, like the Edward kind, the kind that's, like, more protective, that's more serious, and, like, we can read easier because of that, because he's saying less, so we read more. But, like, I think with Hyson, he's a little bit more of an MG character, or even a little bit more of a traditional villain character, but turned sort of good. You know, so it's like you're seeing the charisma, you're seeing the smirk, you're seeing and you're like, all right, where's it gonna end? You know what I mean? And you're not trusting him. You're just like, all right, like, okay, I like you, but I'm not gonna really give my heart to you till, you know. And I think like in that way, you're able to echo Rose's whole experience of it, where you can understand her hesitation, even when everything looks so good, you're just like, too good to be true. It can't, you know. Yeah. And I love that idea of playing with kind of your expectations and then kind of like weaving it. And so I thought that was fun. I also love the idea of a character whose strength is his brain, not his brawn, you know. That to me is so important, and that's so much sexier. And so I really think that needed to be shown, like, you know, and more like played up. So I don't know, you know, it was kind of those things. But then, I mean, you know, there's so much that, you know, like Matthias is reliable and he'll stand by you, and he's like, he'll give his life for you. Like, there's so much, you know, you don't know what Hyson's about, you know, and it's like you really meet him for a snapshot of a moment when like Rose thinks she's gonna die the next day, you know. So it's like, what would you do in that last moment? You'd want to try everything, you'd want to feel everything, everything would be so heightened. It's sort of like, but you don't plan to live past that. What do you do? You know, and you have to suffer the consequences of all your decisions and all the feelings. And, you know, I mean, I think it's like, it's weird, you know? Yeah. And I think Ro kind of says it to Matthias when she says the harder part is surviving at Helios's Halo, when the acolytes ask her, like, you know, about knowing she was going to die facing Ocus, you know, and she's like, it's not really dying that's so bad, it's more surviving, because you realize that person you were is gone, and you have to reinvent yourself, and I think that's a part of it.
I guess I can ask some question now, because talking about Hyson and Ro, what were your thoughts and just what was your mentality in writing that scene with Ro and Hyson coming together and having sex?
Oh,
yeah, because that took me by surprise.
Again, I'm the total opposite of Ro. Like I said, so like that, I even was taking myself. I'm like, oh, like I'm so like, you know, like I don't know, like I always come off as just so like conservative a lot of times and stuff like that. So I just think I was even shocked by her decision. Like it was definitely not at all planned. In fact, like I don't think any of us knew that was going to happen. So when I told my editor, she was like, well, maybe she shouldn't. You know, this is before I read the scene. Like I was just running it by her before. And I'm like, but I was like, here's the thing, right? Everyone expects you not to, right? Because we're all writing like to this moralistic person. We're not really being truly like as honest, because we all have friends who did at that age, and who, you know, for someone who they knew less or could trust less, you know, and so it's that thing of like, okay, but like if she, you know, it's sort of like it kind of limits where you can go with the story after. Like we all know where it's headed. Whereas what if like you turn it on its head, and what if she did go all the way with someone in the first book? Like you wouldn't expect that, and now it's more interesting to see where that character goes from there, because we've seen the other version, you know. And then I also really felt that it was more honest. Like I think Ro, especially, again, she comes from a world run by women. So like she doesn't have a lot of the issues that we have, you know, in this, you know, the way that you're seen by men and the way that we kind of look at gender and the issues regarding gender. cancer is completely run by women. You know, if anything, like men are the minority and have to have, you know, so it's that thing of like she doesn't have a lot of the same issues in that regard, and I think it's something like she would have wanted in that moment to feel that close to someone. I mean, she just lost her dad, you know, and she thought she was going to die the next day. I think she needed that in that moment. And she'd been so lonely. And again, she's a Cancer. She's not used to being that lonely. Family is everything to them. So
yeah, and you know, now that you speak about, I mean, for me, the only way that I was sort of not accepting, but understanding her decision was because, yeah, like you talked about, like our friends and everything, you know, like us at 16, and sometimes you make mistakes, and obviously they're 16, they still have like their whole life ahead of them, even though at that moment they don't know it.
yes,
So I feel like,
yes.
I mean, you can't, the character can't be perfect, and there's mistakes that you do when you're a teenager.
Right.
You know?
I love that point, and it is such a good point because it is. It's not that only the person that didn't, you know, wasn't abused or didn't have sex or didn't go or didn't try a drug. That's not the only person that can make it. You know, there's people who could make mistakes or try things, and still make it, and they can still be the hero. You know, and that's a huge, you know, I love that. Yeah.
You guys have any other questions?
Did you always plan for Hyson to be the Libra guardian, or did that kind of?
Yeah. No, definitely. He was definitely the guardian.
The whole
backstory is hilarious. I'm dying to release like all the stuff about his backstory being raised by a robot and like his whole life. It's absolutely so much fun. But Penguin's like, look, the book just came out a month ago. Let's let it be out for a while. I'm like, no, I got all this content.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
It's hilarious. Yeah, his whole backstory is way mapped out.
Yeah, and I feel like because he was raised by a robot, he has more of that, I don't know, that freeness of himself, you know?
He's very blunt.
It's like really funny.
He's part robot. I mean, literally.
Have you guys seen the trailers for that new movie that's coming out where they build a robot and he has feelings? Have you guys seen the trailers of it? I always see the trailers every time I go to the movie. But I'm picturing that robot as the person who raised him. It's just funny. I'll try to find a link to the trailer and show you.
You might meet the person or the robot who raised him in book 2. Might. Might. That's not a spoiler.
Well, I really liked Neith, and when they were in the embassy or in the ambassador area, and he's like insufficient data, and then everybody like went on with it.
He's so sweet.
They're like, oh, I think he fell asleep.
I know that moment always makes me laugh, and then I'm like, I shouldn't laugh. This is a serious moment.
We do have another question.
Okay.
Catherine Crow says, I was wondering if there was anything that really inspired you while you were writing, music, a movie, or anything else.
I think everything. I mean, it's hard to say. Like my favorite thing in the world is Harry Potter, and it influences everything I do. You know, so I'd say that's the biggest thing. I brought, is like imagination. Just like Harry style, just anything goes. So, and obviously, like, I love Star Wars, I love Star Trek, I love Lord of the Rings, so, I mean, I don't know, I feel like it's probably a lot of things, and then, of course, there's the whole idea of just, like, I feel like right now, especially just, like, in our world, like, there's so much divisiveness, there's so much hatred, there's so much just, like, and to me, like, I look at these different worlds as sort of different continents or countries would be in our own, and just the idea of, like, everyone evolved, like, with different looks, with different cultures, with different upbringings, just like in the ZODIAC, and I just feel like a big thing is just that idea of unity, just, it's so simple, but it just feels like it's escaped us a little bit, and it's just a little bit of, like, a not so subtle, influence from real life where it's just like, yeah, it's time to let go, of all that stuff. So I'd say that as well.
I just want to say that I really appreciate world building wise what you did as far as every house's religion and their religious outlook, because we frequently don't see religion being a major player in politics and stuff. And I think the fact that there was like different religious views kind of across all the different houses was really interesting and helped me to kind of get like a fuller picture of all the different houses because of their not only political leanings and how they value different things, but also how they value religion and how all of those different their religious stories change depending on which house you're in. I just really liked that as like a full picture of each house.
Thank you. I love being able to do that. And the thing is, like, Helios, it's weird because Helios is like scientifically the source of life, you know, but also metaphysically they're very, and spiritually it's almost a, you know, it's revered, like as you see every time that they do the loop around. And so I mean, it's that idea of like, what is it exactly? I don't know. What is astrology exactly? You know, is it really science? Is there really like what, you know, I don't, whatever the other category would be, you know, but it's that idea of like, it all kind of bleeds into each other. But yeah, and I thank you. I really like that too, that it's, you know, getting to do that a little bit because it's fun, you know, and it frees you up to really, it becomes realer to you as well as the author, which is nice.
Okay, yeah. You guys want to answer more of the questions that we have in the side?
Yeah, there's a few more.
Okay. I want that question. Are we gonna see Nishi more?
Yeah.
In the late series? I don't know, you can read the whole question.
What question?
Did you click on it already?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even know I was supposed to have something up.
It's fine.
Like my first chat.
No, it is confusing. So if you go on your left to the screen, there are a few options there, and then you just click on the Q&A, and that should pop out.
Where's the Q&A? Oh, Q&A. There we go.
Yeah.
Wow. I am not Hyson, guys. Okay, which question?
You want to read it, Lainey?
Are we going to see Nishiko more in the later series? I really love her character.
Same.
Yes. Yes. We are going to definitely see Nishi more. Yeah, it was unfortunate not to be able to fit her more in this one, but...
What was your inspiration behind that character? Because I really like her personality. She's just... It's not sassiness, but it's, I don't know, she's just so confident in herself.
You know what it is? Like, she is the protagonist. Like, that's the thing. It's like, in Nishi's head and in Nishi's world, and in any world, she would be. Like, she's the lead singer, she's the hot girl, she's the, like, you know, she's taken the universe by, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But she's not in this one. And that was another thing that I thought about, like, when, you know, a lot of people brought up Hunger Games and the 12 districts and the 13th and whatever. I actually like to use it for a different reason because, like, I don't think Ro is Katniss. I think she's more prim, you know, and I think that, like, it's not, she wouldn't necessarily be that, you know, that person who kind of, like, would be ready for something like this or would know how to, like, really take this, you know, or even who's, you know, would even be a fighter or just, like, and I really like the idea that, like, you're forced to be the protagonist of your own life, so get up there, you know. It actually ties back into something that I wanted to say, like, which, you know, and the special snowflake comment, like, it's funny because, like, I think, you know, that applies to probably every YA I've read. But the other view I would give on this one, you know, just like to kind of just share my kind of thoughts as I created Ro was, I think Rose is earned very much. I think she's been forced to train with a psychotic mother since she was 4 until she was 7. And when she was 5, she was having sessions that were lasting 10 hours a day, a 5-year-old, 10 hours a day, and trapped inside her own sort of, like, head and seeing monsters in there. And, like, for years. She is so scarred and traumatized from that. And that's why she hasn't been able to really form any other relationships, you know, other than Nishu, who obviously forced her way in, is the only person. So it's like, I think she's really paid for this, you know, and really it's cost her a lot in her whole life. And she's been, and so I don't think it was, I mean, it was given to her in the sense that her mom forced it on her, but I don't think it came out of nowhere. I think anyone who put 2 and 2 together could have seen, wait a minute, and you've still been practicing this whole time on your own for this long, since that young of an age, and you're that good, and you're you know, obviously there's more to it, but I think it was her low self-esteem and her friends sort of not really seeing it quite yet that prevented them from seeing it.
Are we gonna see more of the past with Ro and her mother? Because that's really interesting. We see little snippets of it, and the prologue was I really love that. I think that's what really hooked me in, because especially just imagining the world they were in. But that little part with her and her mother, I feel like it made us understand initially where Ro was coming from. But yeah, do we get more?
Yes, absolutely, and we get to meet her brother. So and they'll definitely, through that, I mean, obviously stuff is going to come up. So yes, and then what's funny about that is that the prologue was actually the last thing I wrote.
What?
Like,
Really?
Yeah, because
So interesting.
what's funny is like I explained at the beginning, I'm a Virgo, so my brain is like blah, blah, go, and so like I started it with her taking the exam, and I think people were like, okay, I have no idea what's going on. Please save me from this psychotic person, and I'm like, what? How? Why can't you follow this? Why can't anybody follow this? Am I crazy here? Yes, I'm crazy. I tend to kind of like things that are very obscure and weird and hard to follow, and so like. I prefer that, but apparently humanity prefers having things more smooth and like well written and actually like welcoming and transitioning. And so yes, I had to add a lot to. It's so funny. I'm like, wait, but I already have this whole made up world in my head. Why don't you have it in yours already? This is crazy. But it's I mean, like, it's funny. In elementary school, I'd made up like a whole sign language and written language that my friends and I were going to write notes in because we couldn't write in English in case. I mean, literally, this is a Virgo crazy OCD person. So, yeah.
I just want to mention that in the side of the questions, Melissa Lee posted a link to the movie of the robot that I was talking about, and his name is Chappie. And it's just the cutest thing ever.
Melissa's awesome. That's awesome.
Outrageous Book Nerd asked, when is book 2 supposed to be coming out?
So I think it's December of this year.
Okay.
So it's definitely this year. I think December. I'd love it if it was sooner. I've already turned it in, so I just want to share it already. I'm just waiting on like line edits, so it's really pretty much done.
Do you write novellas in between?
Oh my god, yes. So oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys, but don't tell anybody. Everyone call tomorrow. You're fired. So as my last act as author of ZODIAC, I'm totally gonna spill the beans that like I wrote up this this short story, and it's actually something that like there was no way to fit into the book, just but it's a mission, a secret mission that Hyson and Matthias have to go on in the week leading up to the Armada that Ro never finds out about. And so they can't tell Ro, and it's so, I mean, like, I literally was like, I couldn't even work on it. I was like jumping, writing it. My friend's like, shut up, sit down. I'm like, no. And so I haven't even told Penguin about it because, like I said, I should probably wait a little bit. But then once I do, I'll see if if there's any way of releasing it. And I haven't finished it. I've just written the first act, but oh my god, it's so funny. They're so different. They're so ridiculously different. It's so much fun. Like, I almost wish the romance was between them. Because,
oh yeah, I was like, the bromance. The bromance is endgame here.
Wait a minute, fan fiction, Matthias. Bye, Ro.
I think that if Ro was not between Matthias and Hyson, I think there would be a friendship there. They would just be so funny together.
They just have to kill each other first. They can be friends after they've broken every bone in the other one's body, which is hilarious. And I was just like, okay, so maybe after you fight, you guys would just get ice cream and pizza and hang out. See that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think in that situation, I'm like thinking about it, knowing Hyson's personality, and he's so friendly with everybody, I think he would just like break through Matthias's barriers that he has because he's not very friendly and open. So yeah.
But what's funny with Hyson is he's like that with everyone, but if you notice, Matthias is the one person that breaks through his typical Libran veneer and like gets under his skin. Like in all the scenes, if you notice, he'll be like Rose, like there's a darkness rising to his surface. There's like a counterbalance to his light. She's like, what the hell is that? You know, and it only comes out from Matthias.
But I guess that's just basically bringing out, like breaking up that image that they want to put out to people, because I feel like Hyson has that, you know, it's
totally
uses. So I feel like they really just, I don't know, they bring out themselves with each other.
Well, and if you think about it, every character has a journey, you know. I mean, that is like what they're on, you know. And like Hyson's journey is very much, you know, breaking it and kind of, you know, who the hell are you, you know? I mean, he's like 100 different people, you know. And I think that Matthias is, like it or not, he won't like it, but he is like part of him coming out of his shell, you know, in this weird way.
Yeah. I also wanted to comment on Matthias's mom. I really like her as a character. She's cool.
Yes.
I love her.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so on Cancer, it would be like, it would be completely accepted that she would be the spy and not the dad, because that's, the dads are nurturing, they're just caring, they're, you know, it's a whole different society. And so it was kind of funny to me, like when she burst out with the gun and everything.
That part was cool. Is there anything else? Lainey, do you want to do the question?
Oh, sorry, I was tweeting. About the link.
Is it the 13 sign appearing? Did your sign change?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering that. We were talking about our signs changing. Does that play into the book and the 13th sign not being there? Everything off of balance?
So, yeah. So the idea, like, you know, and this is something, too, that plays into... So when you go to Aries, you know, it's just like, it's the situation there is dire. It's terrible, you know, and it's that idea of, like, every single house right now is out of whack for a reason. It's all imbalanced, you know, and it's, you know, just like, you know, Arians could learn from Cancun's nurturing ways, you know, Cancun's could learn from Arians' military smarts, you know, so their whole world wouldn't be blown up, you know, so it's that thing of, like, something's missing, you know, and it is that thing that Rose starts to realize, oh, we are our best selves, like when we work together and get help from each other, as opposed to independent worlds. And Aries sort of suffers that most of all, because when the human colonizers first came to the Zodiac, they settled on Aries first, and so Aries has seen more civilizations than any other. And to me, Aries most resembles Earth, you know? It's a world that uses military as the response to everything, and it's seen the most number of generations. I mean, it's absolutely, you know? And so it is that thing of, like, I think the fact that the 13th sign, you know, or the world isn't there has hurt them a lot. And that secret, you know, has festered and grown into something dark and awful, you know? But as far as, like, our world sign change, it doesn't, that was just promotional, because the birth dates don't matter there, you know, it just matters where you're born, just like in our world, where you're born. Oh, and I did change. I changed from a Virgo to a Leo.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's what I was telling them. So a Leo is the one that turns into a Virgo, but the Libra is the one that turns into a Scorpio?
I think it's different for everyone, because some people don't change.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
wait, Sam, did you say you don't change?
Yeah, I didn't change. I stayed a Leo.
Nice. I'm joining your pride. Oh, yeah. Leo has 9 prides.
So is there anything that you can tell us about the second book?
So I can tell you it starts on House Capricorn, which is one of my favorite houses, the wisest of all.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, we actually get to see a couple of my favorite worlds in the next one. It's actually going to be fewer worlds, so we could spend more time in each one, because that was one of the things that really bummed me out about the first one. Just the structure didn't allow for a lot of, and you know, like, as you can tell from the website, like, I love details. So it's like having to, not being able to include more really crushed me. And so it's like now I'm just always eking out details, like, to anyone who wants to talk. Oh, did you know this? You know, because it's like, I'm just like, I want to include it. So in this one, I totally do get to, which is great. And you do get to meet many, at least even if you don't go to every world, you do get to meet people from pretty much every house. So at least there's that.
Yeah, I feel like in ZODIAC, when we were in the planet, I feel like I mean, at least for myself, I can see the difference in the culture or like the way that they live there. And yeah.
I miss Cancer. I wish House
I
Cancer
wanna
would
see
recover
Cancer.
so we could go because that was so much fun.
I just feel like, to me, in my head, Cancer is basically like this like mermaid paradise, and I want to see it.
Well,
that's what I keep thinking.
I would say Cancer's like, the Caribbean-y, like there's a lot of islands, a lot of Scorpio is completely underwater. So Scorpio is like, how Scorpio is completely underwater. It's got 6 water worlds. 3 are very deep, where like people have red eyes because there's no sunlight. And 3 are like cross the surface, but no one can live on the actual planet's surface because it's not breathable. And there's very few land masses. It's 98, or I forget what the actual percentage was. I think 98% is Cancer. But anyways, it's just, it's a very different world. So there's 2 water worlds.
That sounds so interesting. I love anything that has to do with water. It's so interesting to me.
Me too. And there's the Scorpion.
Any other questions? Which one?
It's on the side, or are you asking?
Oh no, what were you gonna say about Scorpio?
Oh, I was saying there's a scorpion whale.
Oh, I cannot wait to see that planet. So we can just get any questions for the story, and then we can start wrapping up the Q&A for the book. If there's any, I see a question there about writing. I don't know if you guys want to talk a little bit about that before we end the Q&A.
Me or just...
Oh, Lainey, she's doing the questions. It's in her. Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
Do you have any tips for would-be writers?
I do. I think don't show your work until you're ready to show it. No one else can tell you you're a writer. Only you can. So like, I let myself get crushed so much by rejection, where like, I can't believe I'm here right now. I'm serious. Cause like I had given up by the time I was like, forget it. I'm not doing this. And the worst part was like, the whole thing changed for me when a friend came up to me and was like, so what would you do if I told you you're absolutely going to be published in a few years? I can guarantee it. And I was like, duh, I'd be writing. And she's like, then go write. I'm telling you, you're going to be published. Now go. And I was like, oh, wow, what a novel idea. So it's that thing of like, like Hyson has that line, truth is often overlooked for her simplicity. I feel like that's like my life. It's like I'm thinking 100 gazillion different things, and then the obvious answer is like right here, but it's between my eyes, so I can't see it. And so I would say don't show your work till you're ready, because like if you can't handle criticism, like I mean, even just like I'm sitting here watching the show before I come on, and I have to hear criticisms about the book, because work is subjective. It's art.
Yeah.
And I think if you can't put yourself in my shoes and picture yourself being okay with that, you're not ready to show your work. That's how you know. You have to be okay with it, because art is an expression of truth. That's all it is. A person either hears it or they don't. It either goes over their head or they get it. But like, it doesn't mean you're right or wrong. It does not. Like, it is not math or science. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I mean, so that's the biggest thing, because often I think it's not about talent, it's not about lack of trying, of discipline. A lot of times it's us. We defeat ourselves before anything else. And I think that's why, to me, Ocus, tying it sort of back to ZODIAC, of course, Penguin Likes Me Again, I think that like Ocus is such a great sort of like different type of villain, because it's like it's the psychological scars that really crush us in the end. It's not violence for most of us, like I've never picked up a knife, a dagger in my life, you know what I'm saying? So it's that thing of like, it is like, it's very much, you have to get ready for that, and that's where the battle is in life for most of us. And I think that's really the biggest part. And then I think once you're ready and you're sharing it, just the best thing I ever did was start a critique group, actually.
That's
And
so
it was
interesting.
the best thing ever. Yeah, 4 years we worked together, critiquing each other's work, emailing each other chapters, and now we're all, I mean, 2 of us are getting published. 3 of us are getting published. Like, 4 of us are now published. 1 of us is out with agents. Yeah, so it's crazy. Like, it's amazing. We're all supporting each other, and honestly, I couldn't say it enough. I'm so glad that that's what I did instead of like, trying to go for grad school or for something else. Like, it was grad school. Just like other writers, other people as passionate as you are, and you're sharing work, and you're supportive and constructive. So big. Yeah.
That is really good to hear, because we were like, what if, like the whole reviewing here on YouTube, it's very scary to review books when we know that authors are listening in. But
oh my God,
I felt that from you.
No, I felt that too. I was like, oh my God, because like I feel awkward for you guys if you feel awkward for me. And I was just like, oh my God, seriously, I do this all the time. I'm like, the other person is like, okay, but just stay in your own head for once, And so like, it's that thing of like, if you go to my actual Goodreads account, Romina Garber, like where I actually give ratings, like I don't review or rate. I'll rate 5 stars every like few years to one book that blew me away. Does that mean every book I mark read and don't put anything on I didn't like? Absolutely not. Does it mean they're not 5 stars? Absolutely not. Every single person has their own rating system. That's why we have our own brain, and it's beautiful, And so, yeah, I totally, but until you feel that, like, I couldn't have said this to you last year. Like, I would have been crushed last year. I would have come on and be like, man, and you didn't understand the story. It wasn't for you, click. It changes, It changes when you trust yourself. It's what Layla says to her, trust yourself. It's such a stupid thing, right? But it's really what my friend was saying to me. She was saying, if trust yourself, you're going to get published in a few years, and shut up, just write. Like, oh my God, what an amazing notion. But yeah, it's like, really, no one can tell you. Like, if I was still waiting for New York to tell me I'm a writer, like, I'd still be sobbing right now, So you got to find it in yourself, I think.
Okay. I just wanted to ask the one last question, I guess. I don't know if you guys have any other questions. When did you realize you wanted to write? When was that mark for you? 9?
Mind you, I made all my decisions before 10. I decided I was going to be an author at 9, and I decided I was going to go to Harvard at 10. That's it. And that's as much as I knew about my life. And it's weird because my mom even tells me now, she's like, now I can tell you this because you're a little bit more confident. But at the time, I was like, this girl's crazy. Like, she's not getting into Harvard. What is she talking about? And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're my mom. You told me it was amazing. You told me I could do anything. She's like, yeah, I didn't really mean that. Like, that's crazy. So, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, I knew it. We were in, I'll never forget this, my 4th grade teacher, Miss Liotti, she would read to us after lunch from the where the sidewalk ends. And those stories and the wordplay and just the beauty, I just like, oh my God, the moment I heard it, I just started composing my own. And like, I wouldn't share them with anyone, but I had this notebook and I do these little short stories, I do these poems. I wrote a poem in Spanish and it actually did get sent out and I won like this 1st place award. And so I started to feel like, okay, maybe I could do this. And then like my parents took me to this bookstore and I picked up Great Expectations. And nobody told me you shouldn't pick that up at age 9, go to the kids section. My parents were just like, oh, look, she picked up a book. And so they bought it for me, and I was so frustrated. I was so upset that I didn't get it. I was so mad at myself for not getting it. It was the worst thing ever. But, like, something about the language, just, like, the beauty of the words, I would just, like, I don't know if I was crying from frustration or from, like, how much I loved it. It's a weird, a love-hate. It's always been a love-hate relationship, I guess. And then what's funny is I wrote my first novel at 21, and it wound up being, like, an attempt, at least, at a modern retelling of Great Expectations. And I never realized until then how much that book just got inside me. It just seeped in and stayed in. So, weird.
All right. So, is there any other projects you're working on?
ZODIAC 2, and then I have a novel. It's my 8 or 9-year-old baby at this point, I have destroyed it and rewritten it from scratch twice. I just, like, I love and hate it. It's so hard to write because I think that the protagonist is a little too close to home. It's the opposite of the Roe problem. So, like, Roe's story, just blah. I would advise, write what you know, forget it. Write what you don't know. Sometimes, like, that will unblock you because Roe totally unblocked. And I realized that that was my problem with the other one. Just the story never ended. I didn't know where she ended and I began, and I just started, like, every time I would get in too deep and be like, I hate you, and I can't do this, and just, like, such a love-hate. So I'm back at it.
What genre is it?
And so this time, with some actual professional help, I think I will be able to do it. So let's hope we read about a deal for this book whenever I finish it. But yeah, that and yeah, probably line edits.
Can we know what genre it is?
Yes. Well, that's kind of the funny story. So it's always been paranormal and forever. And then my agent was like, "This is great. This is gonna be great. I love this. I see." But the only thing is, it's not going to be paranormal. It's going to be contemporary. What? Like, so you're saying, I love you, but change the character, change the story, change the setting, change the mythology, change everything. But you're great. Don't change. And I'm like,
yeah.
So it's a little more complicated than that because I guess, like, there is something between paranormal and contemporary, I guess. But it's still very much like, oh my God, this is a huge change. So I've been struggling with it. But you know what's funny? Like, as soon as she said that, I was like, oh my God, she's right. This is why it's taken me 9 years, because this wasn't supposed to be paranormal. This was the easy way out, was paranormal. Just like, oh, just give her a power. That explains everything. But if you have to think through, like, a fight and, like, really, like, think through, like, it's so scary. It's awful. So we'll see if I emerge from that.
Okay. That's great. Anything else, you guys?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Romina. This was great.
No, this was so much fun.
Yeah. You just want to say where we can find you in your social medias or anything?
Oh yeah. Well, I feel like mine is. It's just at Romina Russell on Twitter.
Okay. All right. Cool. So at this point, we are going to be announcing our next book for the Carpe Librum. So, do you guys have the book with you guys?
I do.
I do too.
Oh my God, I'm excited.
Did you guys see that? Okay. All right, so for the next month, do you guys know the date?
No, it's just, I guess now.
Okay. Do you want to say it, Lainey?
I'm ready. Okay, it's going to be 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia.
Yeah, I actually want to say that, Sam, your review of this book was what got me so excited.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
that was one of my most anticipated books for last year, so I'm excited to see what you guys think of it, and I'll definitely join you chatting next month for it.
And the cool thing is that I feel like this has the whole, like, time travel and time theories and all that stuff, which is going to be really exciting too. So, yeah.
Yay for sci-fi.
All right, you guys. So, anything else?
That's it.
Nope. All right. Thank you, everybody, for
joining us.
Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Romina, for joining us too.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Bye.
Yeah.